Flosstube. My name is Amanda. My pronouns are she, her, and welcome to my Flosstube channel, which is called Sycamore Stitches, and it's a cross stitching mainly channel. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I am so behind on watching floss tubes, cross stitching, kind of everything. Um, Thanks to the holidays. I'm sure many of you are in the same boat. The time that I normally have to do things like stitch and listen to podcasts and watch Flosstube and also just get caught up on general things that I need to do, is when my kids are at school during the day. And they have been home. So, which actually has been great and it's fun. It's nice to have that time, but yeah, I have not been on my regular schedule. Anyhow, they went back to school yesterday. Hopefully they get to stay there. I know COVID cases are up. So I guess we'll see. I really hope for their sake that they get to continue going to school. They don't want to be at home or to do virtual school. We've been there, done that. We're kind of over it. So, as is probably everybody else. So, we're all in the same boat. Um, so this is floss tube number 5. I incidentally already tried to do this whole first portion of this, never hit play on my camera, and was kind of rambling all over the place. So I thought this was a good sign that I needed to like write some things down and try this again. So hopefully I'll be a little less scattered this time around. Not that you'll know because you can't see what I did before. As a wrap up for 2021, I looked through to see how many finishes I had, and I had 18 finishes in the whole year, which is, I don't know, I think good. I don't know what a normal number is. 16 of those were cross stitch. There was one embroidery piece that I made for my sister for her birthday, and there was one Blackwork only piece that I made for my mom for her birthday. I don't know. Am I supposed to count those? I'm counting them. Those do go a little faster than the cross stitch projects, but I don't know. Is Blackwork considered part of cross stitch? It uses the same fabric. I don't know. I think it is, but I don't really know. Maybe you can let me know if you have strong opinions about whether or not it is part of that. It's not something I do a ton of, but it is something I started at the beginning of the year with some of the Blackwork stitch alongs, and then like I said, did that one piece for my mom. Anyhow, 18 finishes total, which is great, I think. I don't know. I don't know that I have a goal of how many finishes I'm going to do this year because I don't know. I do like to finish the projects I start, but sometimes I like to do big projects. I think all of mine are probably considered medium size. They're not really smalls, and they're not like super, super big. So, I don't know. I think I specialize in medium sizes. Um, like this one here is like my largest one I've done. So it's not even large compared to like, I don't know, a long dog or something like that. Okay. Anyhow, I'm just going to argue with myself about semantics. Oh, so as part of this, I've been enjoying watching everybody else's WIP parades. I'm behind. I have not seen all of them, but the ones that I have been able to watch, I've enjoyed. So I am going to do a WIP parade as part of this. I'm not going to do a separate video of it because I only have 10 WIPs and like total. And like 6 of them are the ones I'm currently working on and that I show often. So like I'll bring out all of them. There's a couple that I've never showed. So that'll be fun. But I'll kind of do all of my WIPs together partway through this, show the progress I've made on the ones that I did stitch on in the last 2 weeks, and then also show the other ones that I just happen to have that I didn't touch as recently. So I'll do that. I was also thinking I haven't watched any, but I've heard some Flosstubers talking about doing a kit parade. So I'm gonna have to watch some of those and see how that works. But I might do one of those a little later this month. I was thinking maybe for my birthday, which is later this month, that maybe I would do one of those. Because I do have a lot of projects kitted up. My MO is kind of to not have a ton of WIPs on the go at once because that bothers my brain and I'm kind of a completionist and I like to be able to think that I can possibly finish the things that I've started. However, that doesn't mean I don't kit up lots of things because so I don't usually start a new project unless I have finished one. However, I also don't like to have a ton of stash that doesn't have a determined purpose. So if I get some fabric, I want to kit it. I want to know where it belongs. And not have just like a bunch of stuff. So the result of both of those things, is that I have probably about 30 projects kitted up. So maybe a kit parade would be more interesting than a WIP parade for someone like me who has a bunch of that going on. I don't know if that's something I will continue. I did sign up for like a Fabric of the Month club this year, so that might get in the way of my whole I don't like to have a ton of stash. I just like to kit things up thing. But I guess we'll see. I don't have a ton of space, so I don't like to get too crazy, but I can make better use of the space I do have. I don't have like a separate craft room. This is a cubby corner off of my bedroom that is my office/craft area. So I mean, I don't have anything on the walls. I could make better use of this space. I could get some shelving, but I'm not going to be spreading out too much. All that to say, I'm going to plan to probably do a kit parade, but first I need to watch somebody else's. So I'll get on that. Oh, what else? Like I said, holidays, they went well. The kids enjoyed being home. They're, I think, happy to be back at school though. I think they weren't so happy yesterday morning, but by the time they came home, they seemed happy again. It was a little rough Monday morning because they'd been staying up late and sleeping in. Yeah. Oh, also in somewhat related stitchy news, I got a new pair of glasses last week, which is fun. I don't think I've ever worn my old glasses on Flosstube, and the main reason for that is that they are mainly for distance, and I can't really see up close with them, like for stitching. So I'm always taking my glasses off for stitching. I'm trying to figure out my new eyes. I was my eyes were very, very bad. I had LASIK in 2003. And so for close to probably like 15 years, I didn't wear any glasses or any contacts, even though I had been completely dependent on them almost my entire life before that. So just in the last couple years, I started, well, first I got a pair of glasses just kind of like for work, for like video games, like across the room where I couldn't read the TV. And I would only put them on for certain instances. Then I kind of noticed after I had them for about a year or two that I just started putting them on all the time. And then I was like, oh, I guess I need to wear glasses again. I don't need them. I can see without them, but they do make it a lot easier. Anyhow, I'm just trying to figure out how my eyes function now because it's kind of new and my close vision is great. I can see really well. I don't need like reading glasses or anything, but like once I put the glasses on, my close vision goes to crap. Anyhow, okay, I'm rambling about my eyes. Long story short, it's not short. Wrapping up this long story, I got new glasses. They have like the progressive lenses in them so that the bottom part of them cancels out my prescription so that I should be able to wear them while stitching, still see the detail of my stitching, and also see the TV across the room if I happen to be watching TV or something while I'm stitching. So far, it's only been a week. It does seem to be working. I don't feel the need to take my glasses off while stitching, except for it's also kind of habit by now. So sometimes I find myself doing it anyhow. There is one project I was working on that is on a black fabric that one's a little harder, and it might not actually be my glasses, but I do keep taking off my glasses, I guess, in an attempt to see it better because it's just hard to see. So anyhow, that's kind of fun that yeah, don't have to take them off to stitch. Okay, anyhow, my eyes are getting old. Is that all my intro stuff? Yes, it is. On to, I have one fully finished object and that I framed this morning because I've been putting it off for like a month. I had the frame, I had the board, I had all the stuff, and I was just like not doing it. So thank you, Flosstube, because this is motivating. Like I want to show something. So it made me do something I've been putting off. Great. Even if nobody watches this, it has accomplished something for me. Anyhow, I showed this before when I finished it. This is Mushroom Botanica by Alisa Okneas. And I don't know why I moved that there, because now I have to get close. And I put it in this just plain white frame. I'll try to show the detail. There's a lot of like French knots and back stitching and stuff like that on there. This is part of, well, I don't know if it's necessarily a series, but like she has a lot of designs that have this similar look, and they're all different types of flowers and plants. And I had picked out 4 to do. One for each of my 3 daughters and one for myself. This is the one for me. And then I've done, this is the 3rd one of the 4 patterns that I've done. And then I had bought like a 4-pack of like all the same frames to do them in. So let me just show you the other 2 that I have done and framed, just so you can kind of see them together. This one, for some reason, is smaller. The mushroom one is smaller. You can kind of see it here. See how it still looks okay in the same size frame, but I don't know. I kind of wish it was a little bigger. Anyhow, this is my Clover one, which is for my middle daughter, whose name is Clover. And this is my Lily one, which is for my oldest daughter, whose name is Lily. And I don't know, I like seeing them. Here, let me tilt my, there we go. I like seeing them all together. So, but since I made them for all separate people, I don't want to necessarily, I didn't want to give them to my kids to put in their rooms because I kind of want to see them together. But anyhow, I decided that I would hang these on their bedroom doors so that at least you would kind of, like, if you look down the hall, like see them kind of together. I guess not this one though, because my bedroom is downstairs. And I'm not going to put it on my door, I don't think. So anyhow, I've enjoyed seeing them sit together, so I have not given them to my kids yet to take upstairs because I like sitting them on my table and looking at them. But I will eventually put those on their window, or not their windows, their doors. But now I need to sit them down here a little longer to look at them with my mushroom one. I have one more that I have kitted up that is for my youngest daughter. It feels very summery, so maybe I'll do it in the summer. But just to show you my, oops, just to show you this one, the sunflowers one, is going to be for my youngest daughter. Her name is Meadow, and this looked like a meadow or a field of sunflowers, and it looked very happy. So that is the 4th one that I will be doing. I have a bunch of patterns though from this same designer because I really like her style. I must really like it because I really hate backstitching. And her patterns are heavy backstitching, yet they're still worth it because I just love how they pop. Um, okay, so that's my fully finished object. I should have had a second one, but I don't. So maybe next week I will have another fully finished. I have two more finishes that need fully finished. So maybe I'll do one a week. That might work. Oh yeah, I've been doing these videos every other week or like twice a month, I guess. I know we're only on number 5, so, but we don't have that much of an established pattern. But I'm thinking about maybe doing them once a week in the new year, possibly. I was stitching so much that it made sense, and then I barely stitched in over the holidays, and even the whole month of December was a little slow for me. So I guess we'll see. We'll see if my pace goes back to where it was or not. We'll see. Um, my next finish that I have, my goal was to finish this by the new year. I finished it on the 2nd. Today's the 4th. So close enough, I guess. And here it is. Oops, put it on this side. This is called, I think the pattern's called Bird in Garden from an Etsy store called Exabi. I call it my retro bird. I mostly like how it turned out. If you've watched before, you know that I've complained before about this fabric. I had kitted this keep up quite a while, many months before I actually started it. And I think I started it in probably early October or late September. My grandma, who taught me how to cross stitch when I was young, I was showing her some of my projects, and she was like, "Oh, you're stitching on Aida. You need to try linen, blah, blah, blah." I don't know anything about linen, so I was like, "Okay, sounds good. I'll look into it." Oh, sorry, there goes my phone. Which I should have put on. Do not disturb. Let's do that now. Anyhow, okay, so I went to Joann's, just the general craft store, and there was a package that said like white linen cross stitch fabric, and I was like, cool, I bought it. I don't know. I guess it's probably technically linen because that's what it said, but it is crap. And initially I was like, oh, if this is what linen is, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Turns out this isn't what linen is. But it did freak me out from it, and I went to Even Weave, and I'm only just now like, oh, maybe I'll try linen again and get like real stuff. It is super loose weave, very, very loose. I don't know that you can see it. The threads just like, you can just take your needle and just like move them around. It doesn't even make sense. And my stitches don't really lay the greatest on it. And you can see along the edge of this bird's neck, it just pulls. It pulls the holes. I'm sure that I don't have the absolute best technique, but I do know that like my stitching with the same like tension looks much better on different fabrics than it does on this. So I'm willing to blame the fabric and not myself. Well, let's say it's probably 80% the fabric and 20% me. Anyhow, it's not my favorite. From far away, of course, it looks great. Probably like any other stitching project. It looks great. You don't see, whatever. The details bother me. So I'm going to have to give this one away. I'm sure someone else, like to one of my, I don't know, family members, I don't know who it's going to, but it's not going to stay in my home because I am going to nitpick it. I'm going to see all these details and they're going to bother me. But I think that somebody else who didn't make it themselves could probably enjoy it because it is a pretty pattern. But even barring that, like it told me to kit it, you know, I just followed the directions. I didn't get creative, which I probably should have. And if I was starting this now, maybe I would. It just had white fabric. And I was like, cool, I'll put it on white fabric. And then it's like this whole bird feather. And then like that flower. They're ecru. on the white, you can barely see. You can I don't know. It's the contrast is horrible. I don't know. I don't really want to backstitch that part because then I'll feel like I'll have to backstitch all of it. I don't know. I feel like that feather could use a little backstitching. Regardless, I think somebody else will appreciate it. There's been a couple different people I know who were like really liked the pattern while I was still working on it. So maybe somebody will love it. I don't think I have too many issues with it. Anyhow, that's enough on that. I'm sure we'll see it again whenever I decide to either frame it or I always frame things or put them on canvas. I feel like that one might be a good like tote bag. It might be a good one to try that. I've not done something like that, like put a piece on a bag, but also since it's not my super favorite, if it got dirty from being used as a bag, I don't think I would be too upset. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll do that. Let me know what you think. Should I make it into a bag? I've never done that. I'm sure I can find some videos about it and figure it out. I don't own a sewing machine though. I only hand sew. So hand sew. Um so as long as it's not too much hand sewing, then maybe I'll do that. Okay. Blah blah blah. Even with my notes that I wrote myself, I still feel very scattered today. New year. I have more energy though. Getting past the solstice has definitely helped. Even just like knowing that we're on our way up instead of on our way down, it's just helpful. I do have a new start. If I had taped this when I meant to yesterday, then I wouldn't have. But I did finish that, so I got to start a new thing, and I started it last night. I only have a few stitches in. But it's actually part of my haul as well. So I'm gonna do haul slash start because some of the stuff I got is what I started. For Christmas, my husband got me. Let me not show you the pattern. He got me Twisted Rainbow Sampler from Northern Expression Needlework. This one, I mean, I know a lot of people on Flosstube have done this one, so you may be familiar with it. But it has these different bands in an ombre of colors, and they're cross stitch and then specialty stitches and then cross stitch and specialty stitches. I've not done a piece with specialty stitches, so that sounds fun. And I want to do that. So that's what I'm doing. And so I got the pattern, and he also got me from Jessie's Mislaid Pages store, the Dinky Dyes pack. Whew, so pretty. One of them's out of there because I started with it. The red is gone out of there. So this is Dinky Dyes Silk. I have never used silk before. So, gotta try something new. New year, new something. So, that I got for Christmas, and my dad gave me for Christmas a Etsy gift card. So, that was also exciting. So, since I used a little bit of that to get this just black linen to do this piece on, because it was kind of torturous that I got the chart and the silk and no fabric, and I was like, but I want to start it. So I got this yesterday afternoon, the linen. It's just a 32 count black Belfast linen that I got from the Etsy store, my vintage, what's it called? My vintage needlecraft, I think. I've bought some fabric from them before and it was good, so I was like, let's do it again. So here's my little start, which is, it starts in this, sorry, top corner up here and then goes down. Top corner, red, part of this cross stitch butterfly. So like I said, I've never used silk before. It said to only use one strand, but that you'd probably have enough for 2 strands. So I did a little test piece. I did not like how one strand looked. So I was like, well, so I'll use one strand for the specialty stitches because it says definitely do that, but it said you could do either for the cross stitch. So I think I'll use 2 strands for the cross stitch, 1 strand for the specialty stitch. That's my current plan. This is what I have done, which is obviously not much. This was the one that I was having a little trouble. I needed to take my glasses off because not only is it black, but it's 32 count, which is actually a little smaller than what I've typically done before. So I guess I'm just kind of need to get used to it. Can't really see the color very well. It looks orangey. It's definitely a red. I just have a few rows there of the butterfly wing and tail. I am trying to, so I did like 3 lines. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure that I liked how my stitches were laying. Like I said, never used silk before. Didn't like read up on if there's anything different with it. I just started stitching after testing and seeing whether I wanted the 1 or the 2 strands. And I think part of the problem potentially was that I did a loop start like I normally do, and then it seemed to be like one of the pieces almost seemed to be kind of unravelly weird. So I was like, maybe I need to not use a loop start. So the second strand that I did not do that. And then I was like, I should, look on YouTube or read on the internet about what to do with silk because it's expensive and I maybe shouldn't just like wing it and think I know what I'm doing. Anyhow, yeah, I think I like the second part better. It's really even hard to tell a difference. So the only thing I did differently was I didn't do the loop start. And they talked about using a laying tool, which I don't have. So I was like, well, I'll see if that works. But I just, this is just a little sock, like a sock knitting needle that I was like, well, I'm going to use this as a laying tool. And I think it actually did. It felt better while I was stitching. It felt less twisty. Than when I had been trying to just kind of do the top part without the laying tool, but like railroading it, but it still felt twisty. I don't know, but when I'm looking at it, I don't know if I can tell the difference between the lines that I did with and without it. So I don't know. I may continue to try this. It doesn't really seem to like, it doesn't make it worse. It's not super annoying. Maybe this is a little smaller than a typical laying tool. I don't know. It seemed to work well. It's plastic. It doesn't have anything to snag. So I don't know. If you have any suggestions about this, let me know. I'm kind of experimenting with this first color because there's only a very small amount of the chart that is this red. I have an entire skein of it. So like if I need to redo the red, I have plenty of it. So I figure I will kind of experiment a little bit here and hopefully have a plan by the time I move on to the next color. Well, even the next color I'll have enough. But like as you get further into the piece, especially since I'm doing 2 strands instead of 1, I might need to like be conservative with my thread. Anyhow, I watched a couple YouTube videos, but if you have any personal suggestions that you would like to pass on to me, let me know. I'll figure it out as I go. And that's kind of how I've done almost all of my stitching, figuring it out as I go. Like, I guess in the very beginning, my grandma gave me some pointers of how to start things, and then I'm just going. This reminds me, One of the things we did over the holidays was go up to my husband's grandparents' house. Unfortunately, both his grandmother and his grandfather died in November. And so we had gone up to their place and started some of the process of cleaning it out. Um, and his grandmother was a knitter and a crocheter. So um, I did grab a couple bags of her supplies. I've not crocheted before. I mean, I plan to at some point. Like, I just haven't. I'm sure I can figure it out with YouTube. That's how I learned to knit. So, but I do knit sometimes. It's not my main thing. I tried to do it for several years when cross stitching seemed impossible because I had little kids and cross stitching has little needles and little pieces of thread and lots of little things. And knitting was like, oh, you have two big needles and a hank of yarn. It seemed like there were less pieces. It seemed like it was something that I could more easily do. I think I finished a couple projects and then I have a giant WIP that I am still trying to work on that is 10 years late for a gift for my sister. In fact, I did a couple rows of it 2 nights ago. So slow and steady wins the race, I guess. Anyhow, I have an entire bag of knitting needles, circular needles, like sock needles, crochet hooks. I have not gone through all of it yet. I'm sure I'll keep some of it. Some of it I might not. Like some of the sock ones look like they were like bent and stuff. So I'm like, man, I don't know that these would be usable. Anyhow, this came from that bag. It's my new laying tool apparently. For now. But yeah, I have to go through that stuff. There's also like a little blanket that she was knitting that is like partially done that looked fairly simple. Like maybe I could finish it. So maybe I'll work on that at some point. I did not bring all of her like yarn and stuff home, just kind of like the one half finished project and like all the needles because I figured I would maybe use them. And nobody else is a knitter. Not that I would call myself a knitter, but I guess I'm more of a knitter than any of the rest of them in the family. So anyhow, okay, let's do the WIPs and the WIP Parade. First, I'm going to do the WIPs that I've actually worked on in the past 2 weeks since we last talked. Okay. First, we have Bear is the name of it, I guess. I call it Watercolor Bear, which is the designer is Alisa Okneas, just like the mushrooms and the flowers that I showed you, but this is a very different style from them. It is a very large piece, like 16 pages of pattern, and it has this scene with the bear and the birds and the tree and all this kind of like watercolor effect, which I think is pretty cool. There's a lot of half cross stitch in it. It's 200 by 261 as far as stitches. So I guess not that huge. It's pretty big, I thought, but there are bigger projects. It's my biggest project. There's a lot of half cross stitch for this kind of watercolor effect, and then more, you know, a full cross stitch when you kind of hit the more solid parts of it. My goal was to get a page finish by the new year, and I did not get my goal because I barely did any stitching. However, even though I still have a few stitches to do on the first page, I have a lot of stitches on like the second page and the whatever number page this is at the bottom. So it's still a full page of stitching. It's just not completely finished on the first page. The page line is about right here and probably about right here. So there's a little bit I need to still do down here, but I've done quite a lot on several other pages because if I still have the color on my needle, I just usually keep going. That's what I do. And also I don't like those like very straight breaks because you can see them later, I think. At least I've done at least one project where I could see them later and I'm like, I don't like this. So at least some of them have to continue so that you don't have this like line. So yeah, this is what I have. You can see obviously the tree and the leaves and the sky color. And I'll keep working on it. Do my next, finish this page, and then, so it's like 4 pages this way by 4 pages this way, but some of the page, a couple of the pages are blank. Like this one has a blank page over here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, blank. So it's really not 16 pages, but yeah, so I'm going to work across and then I'll move the whole thing down on my Q-snap. When I do move it down on the Q-snap, I can get rid of my guide stitches that I put in at the beginning. These are obviously not part of it. This was just myself letting myself know where the corner was because it was such a big piece of fabric. And honestly, I don't know if this was the very first, but I was always taught to start my projects in the middle. I always started them in the middle. This is obviously not one that you can really start in the middle because it's just so big. It just doesn't make sense. So I was a little paranoid about starting in the corner and running out of space. So I, yeah, did that. This is on a, I don't know. Is it 28 or is it 32 count? I don't know. Let's see. 28. 28 count Monaco. Easy enough. That's why I keep these little things in here. Sorry, this project I keep in a storage clipboard. And then I put the whole thing in a pillowcase. Maybe one day I'll get more project bags, but also these are huge. They won't fit in a typical project bag, so they go in pillowcases. Okay, so that's that. I don't know exactly how much I have finished on that from last time. Let me let you know. Oh, hardly anything. I only picked it up like once in the last 2 weeks. I did 100 stitches on that. So that's like nothing. Whatever. Okay. You're going to see all my WIPs anyhow, so I guess it doesn't matter whether I've done much on them or not. Okay, next. Owl Forest Embroidery, Northern Land. Much more of a sampler style than anything I typically do, but something about the colors of this, I just loved it. So it's only 3 colors. I bought the Owl Forest variegated threads. They are beautiful. I love them. There's definitely not as much distinction between the kind of pinkish one and the dark pink red one than I thought, but it's looking nice. This is where I'm at. And this last week, all I did was this arm that comes out here and kind of everything over that way. So just a little bit of this red that I worked on. Not much, but a little bit. I mean, you can tell at least as opposed to the last one, so that's good. I really love this fabric. I should tell you what it is. You'd probably like that if I told you what it is, right? Let me not show you the pattern. It is 32 count. Picture this plus Lugana in earthen, which I think is a weird name for it because it's pink. It's like a mottled dusty pink. Why is that earth? It's not the color of the earth where I live. Maybe it is where somebody lives. I don't know. Next, I have one in an actual project bag. Yay! That I showed you last time. from Tiffany's store, Black Cat X Stitchery. And I have the other bag that she gave me is the one I'm going to do in the giveaway at the end of this. So I will get to that. This is from Emma Congdon's Cross Stitch for the Earth. This is the second design I've done out of this book. Yeah, that's right. The other one is finished and waiting to be framed. They don't have names, they just have numbers. I call this one Between Two Pines. It says Between Two Pines is a doorway to a new world. John Muir. I just love how the fabric itself is part of the picture. The dark green is the fabric. It's kind of, I guess not confetti-ish, that's not the right word, but the picture won't really come together until kind of you have all the colors. I'm on just the second color. I completed the first color, the light green. Now I'm on the light pink. You can see a little bit of the picture coming out. You can see the tree trunks. Obviously, you can see the tops of these trees. You can see door. This one's doorway to a new. You can see a few of the words. You're starting to see around the sun. This is the pink around the sun. The sun will be yellow. So yeah, it's starting to look a little more like something than it was. What I've done in the last 2 weeks is all of the pink that you see there, which isn't much. It's just kind of like coming up here and around the sun. So this is my travel piece because it's on a dark, this is just a 14 count Aida in, I think, called Forest Green. This is my travel piece because it's on a dark Aida. I am not nearly as worried about it getting scummy. My white fabric tends to get very scummy despite washing my hands, using wipes and all of the stuff. Probably because I don't take it off its hoop or its Q-snap. These are the colors of it. They're very nice. I found these little boxes in the dollar store part of Target, and I love them. I love them for my projects that only have, like this one only has maybe 8 colors in it. Anyhow, the other reason this is my travel piece is because it's in my fancy bag. Because I only have one. I don't know how people get so many bags for all their WIPs, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. Okay. Anyhow, is that all of my WIPs that I have actually worked on? I think so. So, obviously, yeah, not a ton of stitching done. Most of the stitching I did in the last 2 weeks was on my bird that I finished. So just minimal stitching on these other 3 projects. Okay, so that was number 3. We'll do like the actual kind of WIP Parade part of this now with the rest of these. So this is Ski Lift from Awesome Pattern Studio. My husband and I are going on a trip later this month to go skiing out west in Telluride, Colorado. Never been there. I mean, I've been to Colorado, but I've not been to Telluride. So, anyhow, I guess I'll probably end up taking this one with me when I go, since it's, will be appropriate for that. Anyhow, I've not picked this one up in the last 2 weeks, but I will get back to it. It's just on a 14 count white Aida, the cheap stuff that I bought on Amazon. And that's where I'm at. We've got most of the lift, most of the gondola on there. There's going to be a lot of solid colors on this one, which is not something I've done for a while. So maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'd be a good travel piece if I can get a little bit of finish the lift and get a little bit of the outlining in, and then just kind of fill in. There's also a lot of white on white, which might make me lose my mind when I get to it, but I'm not there yet. So for now, it's all good. So here we are. Okay. That's another WIP that's in my kind of currently active pile. I just didn't pick it up in the last 2 weeks. Okay. Oh, I guess that was actually number 5 because I forgot about the Twisted Rainbow one. Okay, so number 6. And the last one that's in my currently active pile is actually, I guess, technically not even a cross stitch. It is Blackwork. It is the 2021 Peppermint Purple Blackwork Stitch Along. I had been keeping up on it for a while and then stopped, and then just recently pulled it back out as like more of an active WIP. This is just the color chart. I use the called for colors and the like shape of it, and each of those squares is a Blackwork pattern. And this is where I'm at. So this is almost the halfway point, I guess. The halfway down is these big long ones, which there would be one over here as well that isn't done. So yeah, I'm maybe a little bit more than halfway, if you don't count doing a border, which I will probably do at least a little border around it. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see when I get to that point. And some of these boxes are not outlined in black or only partially, so I will definitely have to go back and do that when I get to it. I really like how crisp these ones look. So anyhow, yep, I think I'll keep that in my current stack for at least a bit longer. I don't know if I will keep it there long enough to actually finish it. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so that's number 6. I guess number 7, I will just go to my other Blackwork piece. I had started 2 year-long Blackwork stitch-alongs at the beginning of 2021 because I don't know why. I'd never done Blackwork before, and I was like, sure, why not? That was obviously the Peppermint Purple one. This is the Steady Thread one. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not grabbing patterns. I had picked this like garden layout, kind of like a formal garden layout, and then the Blackwork patterns that came out every week are flowers themselves. And then I had picked part of the problem of why I put this away is that the patterns for me, maybe because they were floral versus geometric, did not flow as well when I was stitching them. I had to kind of constantly look at the pattern, and the other type of patterns that were more geometric and pattern like, once I did a little portion of them, I could just go and not look at the pattern anymore. And so I don't know, that one just worked a little smoother for me. The other issue was that I picked the wrong colors. So that's my fault. I had picked a variegated DMC. And then what I tried to do was pick, I wanted to do this variegated, and then I wanted to do a solid purple and a solid like pink magenta that matched this variegated. So my purple is fine. I don't know. My magenta, not so fine. Like it's not the right, it's hard to tell on here, but it's just not exactly the right color. It's a little too red and it needs to be more pink. So I don't know, that's my fault. Oh, there's a needle right there. And this one is huge. The sections themselves also are much bigger than the sections on the other one. That other one, like if I do a little box, it takes half an hour. If I do a big box, it takes an hour. These ones take much longer because they're larger boxes. So there isn't really a pattern, or there isn't really an order like when the pieces were released, they were kind of all over. So this is where I am, which is, I guess, I don't even know how many weeks in I was before I stopped keeping up on it. It looks okay. The red is just too red. I guess it's not that bad. You know, it is one of those things where I'm just pickier. I'm just pickier probably than anybody else would be. I do think it's noticeable, but, and then the outlining is in like the, like a black brown. And this fabric I do love. It's this green fabric. I don't know for sure what this fabric is. It's an Aida. It's a 14 count Aida. I used this fabric piece was even bigger. I used it on a couple other projects too. So I probably have the fabric description with one of them. There's one that's still kitted up that I haven't started. Anyhow, so this is the Steady Thread Blackwork 2021 stitch along. Both of these Blackwork stitch alongs, I have saved all the files so that I can do them one day, even though the groups have moved on, I think, for the next year. Okay, number 8. This is one that I have shared before because I was working on it before. This is called Leaf Skeleton, and it's from an Etsy shop called Ritacuna, and I like the patterns there, but I have 2 patterns, this one and another one that I haven't started from them, and they're not formatted great. Like, I can't open them on Pattern Keeper. At least this one doesn't print very well, so I had to do the pattern in a PDF on my computer, and the nature of the pattern, I had to mark it. I don't normally mark patterns even. I mean, I guess I do want to open them on Pattern Keeper because that's what you do in Pattern Keeper, but I don't mark my paper patterns. But this one was a bit confusing. It actually really needed it. It's also 28 count Mushroom Lugana, 1/1. So that was a new thing for me. And guess what? I don't like it. Too small. Or I don't like it on this pattern. I don't know if I don't like it forever. Maybe the next time I try a 1/1 type pattern, I think I'm going to try a 25 count because I think maybe that might make a difference for me to like it. Anyhow, I finished 2 of the leaves. These are finished because this is the edge, top corner of the pattern. And I had started, this is also just a stem that's coming down. And then I was starting on this bright green leaf. So that's where I'm at. I was having trouble staying motivated on this one. So I put it away. I swapped it out for the Peppermint Purple Cell, and I don't know. I want to keep working on it. I do like how it looks when I can get myself to do it, but I also don't believe in like forcing yourself to do things that you're not feeling. So my current plan is to just keep this put away probably until fall, because I had started it in the fall. It was obviously like a fall pattern. It's like leaves. So maybe next fall I will get this one out and see if I'm feeling it then. Maybe I'll get some like magnifying lenses or something. Okay. Number 9. I like this one. I only put this one away because it's summery and summer was over. So in summer, I will get this out again and finish it because it's more than halfway done. So this is Popsicles, Stitchrovia, Emma Congdon. I love all of her designs. She's probably my favorite designer. Alisa Okneas is probably a close second. And others I've yet to discover. Anyhow, this is Popsicles. I guess it was kind of fun to do because you had like little mini finishes every time you finish a popsicle. The whole top row is done. Oh, wow. I have more than I thought I did. The whole top row is done. And this popsicle and this ice cream cone on the bottom row are also completely done. So I just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more popsicles that are partially done. So that's not too bad. When it gets warm out, I'll take this one out and finish it. It shouldn't take too long. There's no back stitching. Well, there was a little bit of back stitching on this cone where the sprinkles are, but I've already done it. I'm pretty sure there's no other back stitching. Why can I not do this? This is on a 14 count Aida. I don't know what the color was. Probably like a cream or an antique white. That is going to be fun. I told my youngest daughter that I would hang this one up in her room. She has kind of like a rainbow unicorn theme going on in her room. So, glad I took that one out because, I don't know, I'm closer than I thought. Okay, last WIP. I'm like, what's the word? It's not a word. It's an acronym. My last WIP, number 10, is super, super old. I worked on this piece when I was in college. So that's about 20 years ago. I worked on this for probably about a year. Did not finish it. Put it away. And could not part with it. I had put so much work into it. Even though I put away cross-stitching for so long, this piece moved through many apartments, through many places with me. It just kept coming along. It was on that scroll frame that I used before. It was on that. I never even took it off. It was on that for probably almost 20 years. And it had gotten stained despite me putting it in a bag and blah, blah, blah. So last year, no, well, more than a year, 2020, when I started cross-stitching again, I took it out of its scroll frame and I tried to clean it and get some of the stains out. And it did work fairly well. I think that I can continue stitching on it, and some of the stains will get stitched over and some of them you might see a little bit, but anyhow. So I should have told you what it was before I started all of that. It is a Dimensions Gold Collection. Mighty Samurai. I don't know if this still is available. Obviously, like I said, I bought it probably over 20 years ago. And what is rolling around in this bag? These are the colors. They're so pretty. So pretty. Are there beads in this? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to show a chart. There are beads in this, and they are like rolling around in here. Oh, man. Well, I will have to deal with that later. Sorry, let me make sure I'm not showing. Oh, there's gold thread, and there's some gold beads rolling around in the bottom. So, I have not got to that part of it. But, like I said, this is what it will look like. I have almost all of the man done. I need to do the peacock, and I need to do that tree in the sun. And the tree and the sun are half cross stitch because they're in the background. So this is so old, but I don't know if I'll ever finish it, but I also can't part with it. Look how big he is. He's freaking huge. Wow. I haven't done any of the back stitch on him, but I've done all the cross stitch on him, and most of this is all blends. Oh, I guess I have a little bit of the shiny thread in there in his sword. I guess there are some there's some spots that I haven't done on his robe, all these little dragonflies. Those are some blank spots, and his sandals are not done. So I have his sandals, There's a little bit of half cross stitch on the ground. There's the peacock and the peacock's tail, and then there's the whole background. Then there's all the back stitching. Whew. So I still do have a lot to do on him, but also like I can't. This is, you can see why I just moved all over the place with him, because like look how much work is in there. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I don't know if you can see the staining. Yes, you can. There's a little bit of staining here. I soaked him with some OxiClean and different things, but there's still a mark right here. And I think all the other markings are just at the very bottom. Like, yeah, you can see this, but like that, you won't see that later on. So I got most of the stain out, except for right there, which some of that will get covered, and I don't know. Like I said, he's 20 years old, and last year I think I did put a few strands in here. Some of this black and stuff. I did do a little bit of work on him last year when I first cleaned him, and was just like, am I going to continue this? And then I put him away. I didn't touch him at all in 2021. But he's just going to hang out, and maybe one day I will want to work on him, or I will literally run out of things I've kitted up and run out of money to buy more cross stitch, or who knows, and have to work on him. So anyhow, he's an oldie. Okay, so that's the WIP Parade. It's not nearly as exciting as some of the other ones because there's only 10 WIPs. But it is what it is. I try to keep my number low because I will get overwhelmed, and I like to finish things. Who knows? Flosstube might become a bad influence on me. Maybe I will be like the rest of you at the end of this year. We'll see. Next is the giveaway that I mentioned on last Flosstube. This is a project bag, a Christmas one. Even though Christmas is over, you can get ready for next year already, or put all your Christmas WIPs in here until you want to take them out next year. This is made by Tiffany at Black Cat X Stitchery on Etsy. I will link that down below. And let's see, I used the little, the name, the word was Christmas. There were 15 comments, and the winner is Rowena Isney. Rowena, send me an email. I will put my email in the description. I will also comment on your comment. Get in touch with me. I technically have an Instagram page. You can find me there, whatever. Find me somehow, and I will send this out to you. I have a couple things that need to go out in the mail anyhow, so hopefully I can get a hold of you soon and kind of get all of this stuff out, maybe even by the end of the week. Who knows? I'm behind with mailing things because it was Christmas and I didn't want to go to the post office. So, congratulations. I'm excited. This is my first giveaway. I hope the rest of it, like the sending of it, goes smoothly. I don't know how often I'll do giveaways, but definitely. I'm sure there will be some more in the future. I don't know how regularly that will happen, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so I hope you liked that WIP Parade, and plans and goals. I think I mentioned at the beginning of this, I might try to make it a goal to do a weekly video. I feel like this is going on way too long already, and I don't know, I thought a weekly video might make them shorter, but it might not. It might just make for more videos of all the same length. Who knows? I might give it a try though. And then I just want to get back in the groove of stitching. I've just, the last month, I've done far less stitching, which is fine. I had a lot of other things happening. So I just wanted to kind of make some progress on my projects, I guess I have worries that now that I'm working on kind of 6 projects concurrently, that maybe I'm not making progress sufficiently on all of them, which is not, I guess, a big deal. Maybe I'll have to focus on less of them. I don't know. I had been doing my process where I would roll the die since I had 6 projects going. Each number was a project, and I would work on it for maybe a set amount of strands or whatever. I kind of got away from that because I was trying to meet the goal of like finishing my bird. So maybe I'll try to get back to that. That seemed to be like a good way of doing things. Also, I want to catch up on watching Flosstubes. I don't know, that might not happen. There's so much content right now, but there are some WIP parades I definitely want to watch. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. I hope you all had a chance to unwind and hopefully be off work a little bit during the holidays. And I hope that the transition back to regular life is going well. I've had some downtime from my job, so I still do for the next month. So I'm a doula, so I don't have a typical job. I don't have like an office to go to, but it just depends on how many clients I have and when they're due. And my last birth was on December 1st, and I don't have another client due until like early February. So I guess by late January I could have that going on now again. But I'm still, meeting with clients and doing all those things, but not expecting any births for at least a few more weeks, which is good because we're going on a trip, and I always have backup when I'm out of town. But it's stressful when I miss births, and it's stressful. It's stressful for, I'm sure, my clients. It's stressful for me. My husband hates it when we're on vacation and I'm checking my phone because somebody is in labor, and my head is with them. So anyhow, it will be nice to not really have that hopefully going on. Babies come whenever they want, so I guess that's always a possibility, but to not have any current clients when we go on our trip. So yeah, I don't know why I'm still talking. This is way too long. I will hopefully have this uploaded later tonight. And take care. Maybe I'll see you next week. Maybe I'll see you in 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Take care and bye.